After living with my DIY cold air intake installed for about a month now and being able to gather some data on it, I can confidently speak to its value and effectiveness. And if I sound like I'm getting over a cold, it's because I am. Sorry. As you can see here, my Frankenstein air intake is just that, an amalgamation of found parts. We've got a 90-degree, 2.5-inch diameter silicone coupler, some clamps, and about 10-11 inches of aluminum tubing. Pair that with your existing pod filter and short ram intake, and you've got 90% of an off-the-shelf cold air intake. Really, the only difference between this setup and an AEM or InGen intake for this car is that the filter isn't cocked 45 degrees down at the bottom. Other than that, it's the exact same thing. Before making this modification to my intake, I hypothesized that I could get the same result as a cold air intake without having to spend almost $300. And while I can't afford to buy those other two cold air intakes and test them side by side on a dyno, I did get measurable results. Thanks to the readout on my turbo gauge OBD2 screen, I can see air intake temperatures in real time. Well, at least what the car would have me believe is the intake air temperature. The thing with the car's onboard temperature sensors is that they're only really accurate first thing in the morning on a cold start. Anything after that, and the displayed numbers are really a representation of temperature rather than the actual thing. And I would need more sophisticated tools to get the actual numbers, but really that's not the point here. What I'm showing you is the soft science, remarkable difference between two air intake configurations rather than the hard science, down-to-the-degree data. And that's simply because I can't. So in the end, what is the actual difference? With everything in the standard DDM Works configuration of the intake tube and pod filter on the end, I was seeing air intake temperatures, displayed temperatures, in the 120 degree range, around 120-122 degrees while in motion. After strapping on $10 worth of eBay parts, I now see displayed air intake temperatures that are within 7 to 10 degrees of what the car will have me believe is ambient. That translates to air intake temperatures between 80 and 95 degrees depending on the time of day here in Florida, and when it gets colder, they'll be even lower. The benefits to all this are that the car has a throatier induction and exhaust sound, and while I haven't been able to prove it on a dyno, it does feel torquier in the mid-range, so it's a win-win. Really, the only downside I can see to this is that your pod filter is going to get dirtier faster because it's down closer to the ground where all the dirt and stuff is swirling around. But luckily, K&N filters are washable. But Josh, what about water? I'm sure you're wondering. Don't worry about it. Driving in the rain and splashing through some small puddles is a-okay. The filter's pretty well surrounded in there. What you really want to avoid is total submersion of the filter. So, as long as you're not driving through any deep standing water or trying to ford any rivers in a Mazda2, you're gonna be fine. And that's all there is to it. The thing works. To the people who thumbed down the original video on this intake setup, sorry you didn't think of it first. And to AEM and InGen, if either of you want to send me one of your Mazda2 intakes to test side by side with my own design, I'd be happy to do so. Anyway, that's it for me this time. Sorry it's been a couple weeks since I made a video. I've been preoccupied with some other exciting stuff, but I had some free time tonight and I figured I would throw a little something together for you guys, and I hope you have enjoyed it. That's it for me this time. Thank you all so much for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't worry about it.